you, like, how has this impacted you? And because I know, your events or you was on a roll and then just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, how's this been going for you?
Um, it's definitely tough. Sucks because we're not with great energy group. Our big thing is we're big on bringing people together and creating community, but we're supposed to be practicing social distancing, so it's like in the direct opposite. Uh, but it's been a challenge. So I'll say like the obvious. Yes, it sucks because restaurants, nightclubs, and all that are closed down, and a lot of places are even going through different changes right now. Where some places are shutting down for good, which is unfortunate. So we haven't been able to work. We haven't been able to move things around, and the people that work with us and employees that we have, it's like a lot of people are kind of lost right now, and the timing of this, honestly, it just couldn't. The timing of it just was like right when we were about to start our like Liddy in the City brunch season.
Okay.
That was about to start, and then as soon as the weekend when that was about to start, all of this happens. And we had some, and with several people who were in the event system, which sucks so much is because for certain events, and if you have like so people do festivals and things like that, you can put out a lot of money. It's a risk. You can put out a lot of money and you can put out for different things.
Yeah.
And you're expecting on this return by a certain date, and something like this happens where there's no way around it.
Yeah.
And that's just a part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you like been inspired to work on anything new during this time, like plan anything virtual?
Mm. So two things about that is I've been more inspired to work on things for myself that I need to work on, not so much virtual. So I will, yes. Now, as a company, we've been looking at like different ways to still engage people, whether doing something like Zoom, IG Live, and doing things like that. But also, one of the big things is I'm not interested in throwing spaghetti at the wall or putting something out that's not valuable to someone. I want if I'm gonna put some content out or something that I want people to come see, be involved in, come for free or buy a ticket, whatever that is. I really want it to be like I want the experience to be when you leave like, damn, that was dope. Like I would want someone to thank me for the experience. And so one of the things that I kind of got caught with at first is like, this quarantine happening. People on IG Live, people putting out all this content. And I'm like, oh, I got to put out my content. I got to put out some content.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Marcus, take your time. Like, don't get in the rat. Like, I just thought like, I'm not going to get in the rat race to like hurry up and because everybody's doing something and putting stuff out.
Right.
I'm finding ways where I can be consistent where I can, but I took a step back and say, okay, well, how can we rebrand something for the long game, not just quick quarantine content?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know like how long this is gonna be, or when we're gonna come out of this, but do you like have a plan like how like you're gonna slowly gradually get back into things? Or yeah.
So on the event side of things, honestly, I'm not sure what just my thought process is, even when they do open outside back up, I don't see it being like, oh, everything just open and free for all.
Right.
And even if it is, like I talked to a friend in Atlanta and she was just saying, yeah, people are back out. And I'm like, but I'm not really sure about all that.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing is I've been planning on just how to make sure that things are safe coming back into the right environment. So even if they do open outside and hypothetically there are no restrictions, we will not be doing the event the first time, like the first weekend back out. Unless I'm so certain and not for sure, but it's a lot of different things about this virus and what's going on in politics where, yeah. But other than that, the event side, just kind of slowly rolling that out and testing it. But
yeah.
Major thing for us too is just like figuring out what's going to be open, what's new. So I mean,
yeah,
it's not really kind of a big plan. It's kind of like see what happens.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious to ask you, like I know we both went to McNair and stuff, but you were
Mm-hmm.
like a superstar in football. Like you had a great career and stuff. So like
Hold on, you saying football?
Yeah. Oh, me, my bad. Basketball. I'm
I'm
sorry.
about to say, I'm like, I ain't play football.
My fault. My fault. My bad.
And you said I'm a superstar?
In basketball, yeah.
Yo, yo, you was a superstar. You know, you were a superstar ever since, when my grandfather used to, it was South Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you was balling with the older girls, just cooking. I was like, yeah, she gonna be a bucket. Nah,
I remember you could play with your sister on the same team. I remember.
back in the day. hmm
But,
But yeah, you were saying, I'm sorry.
no, you good. But yeah, like, how did you transition from that? Like, you was playing college ball, and then you pursued this as your career. Like, when did you know, like, this is what you wanted to do? Like, how was that transition?
The part of the thing about what I'm doing right now is kind of not. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not more so of like what you want to do. So for basketball, so this is the thing for basketball with me playing basketball my whole life. It taught me a lot more than school did. Like it taught me about people. It taught me about how to communicate with people. It taught me about adversity. This talks about life. Like in basketball, like, you know what I'm saying? You can get fouled and the ref doesn't see it. What,
Yeah.
you going to stop and complain to the ref? You can't do that because the game's still going.
Right.
So it's just like little lessons all throughout that. Like I learned and I want to implement and try to share that with other people. So like that's one way of how like I got started with the Great Energy Group. And we're coming up with that name. So like when people see the parties and Liddy in the City and all that stuff, that's fun because I know a lot of people and I know a lot of people come to the party, and I was always a big fan of bringing people together.
Yeah.
But I have like this almost this coach mentality when it comes to the event side and like working with people on the team and the sense of urgency and getting things done. I like the intensity. I like the intensity of that. But also I just understand the service industry, the restaurant, nightlife service industry very well. And I think that, that's an area that, it gets, that's an area that brings in a lot of money, and especially with Black folks. So I just see where there's a lot of opportunity where we can provide these services a better way. I'm not a fan of clubs and stuff like that. I'm not a club guy. I'm much more of like a kickback party with my friends.
Yeah.
But I feel as though even if people do go, especially to a Black establishment or where Black people are hosting stuff, there should be a certain level of service that we should get.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also, good point you brought up. It's like you like bringing people together. So just like looking on the outside, looking in, it seems like you done a great job of like keeping the community together, like your friends, and even like like Ray hiring as DJ and stuff. So like you want to talk about that, just how like you pretty much kind of put people on, like help bring people together. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. It's so funny about it because like that's a like putting people on, like that's a slippery slope for real, and that's something that I think with Black folks, like we got to talk about it more, and we have to start changing the narratives because sometimes there could be one person who let's say somebody, they go and they do something big, now they automatically like, boy, that's your boy, you got to put your boy on. If your boy isn't ready, then no, because even your boy should know that, because like if you up here doing big things and I'm not, and I ain't been doing my work to get on your level, I'm not gonna slow you down, bro, because I want to see you go. Like, so put, yes, in opportunities where you can and you should put people on, and that's a messed up narrative we have, like, because a lot of Black folks be like, oh, my friend do that, so they about to put me on, or they about to do that.
Yeah.
Nah, if your friend has a business, you shouldn't think of it as a put on, as a like, oh, I don't gotta do nothing, they just about to sign me up so I can just be dead weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, my friend got something, you know what? I'm a volunteer with 110%. Like, that's a narrative we need to take. But going back in terms, and that's a big thing, going back in terms of putting your friends on, it's a slippery slope because sometimes people see and they be like, hey, bro, hey, what's up? I'm trying to get down. What y'all doing? And literally it's like, and again, this is no shade, but this goes for, anybody's business. Sometimes we gotta understand, it's like, I don't have, like, well, what can you bring to the table that we don't already have?
Right.
That's actually worth monetary value. You know what I'm saying? So if you can explain that to me, then bro, we can work. We can find some ground. Or also a big thing about what putting your friends on too. It's a big problem sometimes because people can sit there and you can try to put somebody on and they may not be ready to work. They may just want to check. And you sit up here, you running and gunning and working for your dream, and your friend up it kind of just like, yeah, this us. Yeah, I'm a part of it. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's not cool too. So it's one thing that you gotta pay attention to, and then also like with any brand business, I avoid like keep like your friends don't have to be a part of it. Your friends can help out.
Yeah.
Your friends aren't your friends aren't the people who are gonna keep your business alive. That you. A lot of people, man, my friends ain't supported. That's why my business is dead. No, your business is dead because your business is dead. Your friends can support, but they are not responsible for keeping your business afloat.
True.
So, yeah.
That's real. That's real. Yeah. So, and then another thing, like the McNamara community, I want to ask you about that because you see that consistently, like McNamara's at like a lot of your events and stuff, but just like how we remain in contact, like that's in all, like I feel like different generations or ages, it's still like at some point, like McNamara is still cool. We want to talk about like that community, how like we're still in contact today.
McNamara, like yeah, it's I've been the McNamara community was just so big for a while. I honestly, it hasn't been as close for me as it has, but it's just, I think that's just because, I mean, we're not clearly as high school and up close on each other as we were. But of course, now that I think about it, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to McNamara people down every day. Like I'm always, there's always something. And I think that goes to say there's so many people from McNamara who have now branched off and are really doing so much that it's just kind of like McNamara people are all over, just kind of spreading their thing, creating their own images of themselves and just really doing their thing and doing dope shit. And I think that's like, it's because of like, you know, where we come from, we're inspired. And I think we have a certain level, like our standards are just at a certain level for certain things. Like for me, I walk around a packed event and people are like, what you mad for? Man, it's packed out, it's lit. But I'm so upset with the way the food was served or how this looks or that because my thing about it is I kind of always have this McNamara standard thing in my mind with like my sister and some of her friends and some of my friends from school. I'm like, my friends wouldn't be okay with this.
Right.
Like they wouldn't accept this service. So I'm kind of like, so that's where we need to go. And I think it's, you know, when you have creative people around you and you have smart people around you, you know better. So, you know, you do better.
True.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, my last question for you is, what advice like would you give someone who's, you know, it's like I mean for anybody really, because it's a tough time for everybody. Just like how to get through this time.
This is this time. Oh, there's so much opportunity in this time. So like the thing about it is like it's easy right now to get caught on like, oh man, it sucks. I'm money. I can't. I'm short, late on my rent. I'm this, that, and the third. You ain't the only one right now. So what can you do right now? Like, where's the like? I talked about this. I talked on the podcast, but it's beauty in the struggle. That's where the most opportunity is. So right now, you can't go anywhere. Read that book you've been putting off. Learn that skill that you've been trying to learn. Start that podcast. Start that channel, and none of it has to be perfect. Even as far as that's as far as it is business wise, but even dating wise, I think this is the perfect time to get to know someone because we're social distancing. So now you take the time to communicate with somebody. Y'all not going out and spending money and drinking and it's all that you have to get to know someone. So I think this time is beautiful. And then also it's play around with social media, have fun with it, do the TikToks, do the video, do the that, have fun with it. But don't stress yourself out trying to be an influencer and work from home and keep up with everybody. Don't try to like, oh, I'm going to give the next person my podcast, my show. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. And like literally, I'm working on this literally a creative series, kind of ironic, but about like how I feel like we're all social media has kind of all put us, and during this quarantine has put us in this art class, and we're trying to impress the teacher. Like,
Mhm.
I'm creative. I'm creative. My project looks better. Look at the name for this one. Like,
Yeah,
and it's just kind of it's honestly taking the fun out of what creativity is.
right.
Um, like creativity is failure and mess ups. Like that's creative because again, that's a struggle, that's a failure, and then there's something beautiful that can be created in that. That's the beauty of creativity. But now creativity has become so structured, modern because yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Now,
Because now we all have this same, kind of a same general thing of what success is supposed to look like. But I'll go on in days for that. But yeah.
no, I appreciate it. This is gems right here. So,
Yeah. But oh yeah, one thing I'm doing during this clean, I'll tell you, like for me, I've been out away from, bars, clubs, all that stuff. So taking the time, not drinking, working out, like I'm really like, I'm about to do this cleanse, like no meat, no all this stuff. And I'm really about to cleanse and meditate, do yoga, like pray, talk to God, like, and just like in this time, like this is the perfect time to be still. Just sit down with yourself without a phone, without a substance, without something like that, and see what comes to mind. Just see what your mind tells, see what your body like, listen to yourself. Like, and this is the perfect time to kind of reset, recenter, and like really focus on some things. So for some people can come out of this thing and be like, you know what? I quit. And they tell that, and then come back and they be like, you know what, this isn't the right job for me. But I make great money, but the money isn't what this is about. Whatever it is, but find your peace during this time. In a time where we can be still. We have to be still in a sense. So yeah.
yeah. No, thank you for that.
Of course.
Well, those are
Oh,
questions, man.
man, I'm chilling. How you doing during this time?
I'm actually doing pretty good because it's weird. Like, video editing has been more of a need right now because,
Of everything that's happening.
yeah,
I
so
see.
I've been busy, but it's just weird. It's just different. So, but
That's what's up. I mean, but and it's good. You're seeing like, are you also seeing like with video editing is big in this time, but are you seeing like, all right, cool, how you can keep it going even after this time falls off? Some people go back to work, some people it's a lot, like it's just so much opportunity in this time, really take advantage.
exactly, it's taught me like how to reach out to individuals, small businesses, like whoever, and actually have a detailed proposal. Like, this is what I can do for you. Like, how to market, how to promote, down to the core. So, so God forbid, but if there is another quarantine, like, you're not like rushing calling me like, hey, can you help me? Like you said, kind of like speed, like trying to race. And it's like, no, you
Hmm.
be prepared. So that's
You
what it
got your you got your system.
yeah.
And do you also know like it? But see, but this is something that this is what you do though, because it's like, and that's the thing. I see, because like right now I'm seeing like people like doing quarantine stuff and they doing stuff, and it's like, yo, I'm about to, and I see them getting all worked up and like late night, like trying to make this stuff, and I'm like, you do this show, you like winging everything off this show during this daytime show and all this, and you putting all this into it.
Mhm.
You gotta go back to work after this. Like I just, and to be honest, build a brand, do your thing. But like, have you also thought about still, when outside opens back up, okay, well now I gotta go to here, I gotta go to work, or then I'm gonna go out tonight, or then people gonna be out, so
True.
people, just it's people thinking about how to be diverse, or versatile, excuse
Yeah. I
me.
def-
Yeah. But I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Ask me a few questions, whatnot.
No, thank you for joining.
Of course.